Nothing happens by chance. Nothing happens by accident. We must not concede the idea that God is not working all things according to his own perfect will and for the praise and glory of his own perfect name at all times. God is in control. I understand the difficulty we face sometimes with that truth. When things go well with us personally and in our families, we speak of God upon his throne, ordering all things for his glory and for our good. And we can understand that. We don't have a difficulty understanding God on the throne in times when things are going well. But when things don't go so well, we ask, where is God? And we begin to wonder what is happening. We begin to have second thoughts about our theology. We begin to question, why is God not doing something? And while we may never actually put it into words, we are undoubtedly tempted to think, where is the Lord in all of this? The fact is, God's position, God's sovereignty is not dependent on what happens here on earth. Rather, what happens here on earth is dependent on God's sovereignty. God either rules over all, or he doesn't really rule at all. We have a sovereign God. The Westminster Confession of Faith puts it in a biblical framework when it states in the chapter on providence, God, the great creator of all things, does uphold, direct, dispose, and govern all creatures, actions, and things, from the greatest even to the least, by his most wise and holy providence, according to his infallible foreknowledge and the free and immutable counsel of his own will, to the praise of the glory of his wisdom, power, justice, goodness, and mercy. That's a tremendous statement. God, the creator of all things, upholds, directs, disposes, and governs all creatures, actions, and things, from the greatest to the least, by his most wise and holy providence. What does that mean? It means God is in control. And God will always be in control. Now that should relieve our fears. And I understand the sense of concern. I understand the sense of fear that must grip nations and grip people when things like this erupt. And it's easy for us, I suppose, in Greenville, where we're not facing these things to this extent, it's easy for us to say, yeah, God's in control. But if this Ebola virus was to come to Greenville, God is still in control. And when trouble comes to your life and trouble comes into your family of whatever nature, it can be a sickness that's not related to anybody else's sickness. When cancer comes, or death comes, or tragedy comes, or disappointment comes, God is in control. God is in control. And that ought to relieve our fears. And God and his sovereignty is ordering all things by his wise and loving and tender hand. I get how sometimes that's difficult for us to get a hold of. And I have been in situations in my own life and trials in my own experience where I've wrestled with that very thought. If the Lord's in control, why is this happening to me? Why does the Lord not bring it to an end? The problem is not with God's sovereignty there. The problem is with my understanding of God's sovereignty. Psalm 112 and verse 7, the psalmist said, he shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in the Lord. Believer, amid all the atrocities, all the tragedies, all the calamities that are in this world, we, as the Lord's people, can have a heart that's calm and confident and content in the full knowledge that our Heavenly Father is on the throne.